And basically, in a nutshell, after me spending $60,000 of attorney and filing my own motions, I thought, well, I'll just represent myself because this is all really getting scary here. I felt like I was in this incredible crossfire. You know, I actually took the sides of the judges, thinking, no judges are going to put me in jail for nothing and, you know, strip me of my child and all my resources, because that's what these people were claiming, that these judges actually do that. If you don't pay them off, they take everything from you. Well, what I came to find out is that's exactly what this judge did. I did manage to get Chuck Weller, the man that was shot, the judge, off my case because of personal relationships. I have filed complaints on him and Judge Hardy with the Judicial Commission. I ended up with Judge Doherty, who is also a friend of Rick Blower's, the JAG, Shannon Bryant, all this. And what ended up happening is they bought a custody evaluator. And my ex and Shannon Bryant wrote a custody evaluation, even though I passed all the MMPIs to say I wasn't delusional. All of a sudden, because I want a divorce, and Shannon Bryant is upset, and he could go to federal prison for these, because the computer hacking is a 2 to 5 felony count. Basically, we're looking at life for him. We're also looking at, they stripped me of my daughter originally because I may or may not have had email contact with people that may or may not have had association with Darren Mack. No legal reason, but that's it. Basically, there's something wrong there. They took my child to say, we want to know who's contacting you. Well, I couldn't tell them they took my child. What ended up happening in a nutshell is Judge Francis Doherty, and this is a quote, because I alienated my entire support system, reporting all these crimes I was running into, although I didn't do it officially at the time. I was just reporting to police, all the stalking, the harassment. I hadn't even reported the millions that I had found Mike Golden misallocating. They basically tried to commit me, saying I was delusional. They gave me 1 hour to prove that I wasn't delusional. And I actually did. I had paid $2,000 to have an MMPI done, which is all the tests that you take for 2 or 3 days, you know, the psychologicals.
Sure.
All the back inventories, everything, paid to have the psychologist that took them on me into the courtroom. They completely ignored this man. Completely refused to accept any evidence of my sound mental health and the fact that I was my daughter's mother. And actually, at this point, I actually came clean with the fact that my ex is not my daughter's biological parent. I had an affair. My ex at the time could not have kids. I had an affair. In fact, we were actually separated. Birth certificate. At the time, we were separated when she was conceived. Their answer was to completely strip me of legal and physical custody of my daughter. And only give me supervised visitation with no reunification plan.
On the basis of what? What was their...
Because I, quote, alienated my entire support system.
How did you alienate your entire support system?
Reporting all this. Basically, my existence means that Shannon Bryant is going to prison, probably for life, if they find this computer hacking. The judge, if I file these civil lawsuits against Reno PD and Sparks PD for not doing their jobs, in fact, presently, Reno PD is running 2 open warrants on me that prevent me from passing any background check. I could go deal poker right now for $100 an hour, cash. But they're running these warrants to prevent me from gaining employment. I have it in print that they can't even prosecute these warrants. They've put me in jail trying to extradite me on these bogus warrants. And every state has gone, there's nothing there. We can't extradite her. I've never been in jail in my life. I had perfect credit, clean criminal history. I was a welfare worker. Never had any problems with drugs, alcohol, nothing. I mean, I was Susie Homemaker's mom's taxi.
Most organized stalking victims are that way, and they're railroaded into institutions or situations like yours. This is not uncommon what's happened to you.
Well, when they tried to commit me, it was very obvious. And I had some good friends, and I'm working for the welfare division, so I saw the signs. So I basically left everything, my real estate, moved everything to Arizona, fled to some friends. They didn't like that. So the court-ordered my house out from underneath me, didn't give me a dime. Not a dime. Started charging me. They involuntarily terminated my rights to my daughter completely. All I had at this point was telephonic visitation, which I never did because my ex is, a supreme parent alienator. If I even call her, if I send her a card, he'll psychologically abuse her, competing with mom. So I never contacted her, and she would tell me, too. She says, I can't stand it, Mom. In fact, she was reporting him to the custody evaluator, everybody, and nobody listened. When I went to Arizona, they just completely harassed me out of the house I was in, sending process servers, accusing me of all this stuff. It was just too incredible. The court accused me of harassing his attorney, Shannon Bryant. Now, this is a family court, and this judge put me in jail because the attorney, a third party, felt harassed. So they were completely out of jurisdiction there. I mean, that's a criminal charge. I'm in family court, and it wasn't even my ex. There was no restraining orders, nothing. The attorney felt harassed because of my emails from Arizona, another state. They completely denied any out-of-state visitation. They completely denied everything. They completely stripped me of all my bank accounts, my house, everything, my retirement, everything. I saw nothing of any of my assets. They awarded me all the community property debt, which was over $100,000. They didn't award my ex anything. Out of the house proceeds, my ex came up with this bogus list of furniture and stuff that never existed, and they took his word for it. When I went to prove that my ex actually misallocated community property, spending it on all those women and stuff, they said, no, we don't see it. When I proved the harassment, it's all in my divorce records, all of Shannon Bryant's computer hacking. I proved that he wasn't serving me correctly. I proved that he was harassing me. Everything. They completely said, we don't see it, the judge. And this female judge, Frances Doherty, who is running for re-election this year, and I plan to smear her all over the place, really just completely stripped me of everything. And her, again, I quote, because I alienated my entire support system. Basically what happened here is Shannon Bryant alienated everybody. When they tried to commit me, it was so obvious. I mean, this man put everything on paper. What he's done, everything's on paper. The lawsuits that I have are very notorious. I simply just have to find someone to take them. The Reno police, it's very obvious. I have it in court documents print that they are running these open warrants, but the city attorney will not prosecute. Now, they've asked me to come back there to face the judge. I said, there is no way. You completely denied me due process in one of your courts. I will not step into Nevada and face another judge with this.
Are you going to try to change venue? Can you change venue?
I'm going to take it to federal court eventually. Right now what I have the Department of Justice, the Criminal Division, the Civil Rights Division, and the Inspector General Division, and the Juvenile Division, and the Office of Professional Responsibility. I made 16 complaints on everybody involved, the 2 PDs, the FBI for refusing to investigate, the judges. I've made complaints to the Judicial Commission on all 3 of the judges. I have made complaints on the Attorney General there. In fact, I'm getting back this print that is just unbelievable. I'm going to publish it and put it all on disc and start handing it to the media. I'm going to start working on press releases. I've got DCFS at the federal level involved for my daughter, because since then, they've even cut off my telephone visitation. Now, the weird thing about this is everybody says, why don't you go back to court? I said, what's the point? There is no reunification ordered by this judge. They are just simply saying, you can't have your daughter. We're mad. Well, then that's when I found out my ex started spreading these rumors. They are running the warrants, and they are using my daughter to get me back in Nevada because I am this, basically he sold Katie, my daughter, and I as this implant experiments, whatever. Now, I don't believe that was done to target me. I think that what that is just incompetent handling of this whole case. And that's when we started getting into, I have 2 very good ex-boyfriends in Reno. One has offered marriage. I don't know what happened with that. It just got too heated, and we just broke it off, but he is trying to help. He is a business owner there, so I won't mention his name. The other one lives in Bird Eye, but he's actually very wealthy, very involved, with offices even out of the country, so I'm not going to mention his name. So I don't believe the whole implant thing was meant to